Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Before we go over to the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. Let's now get you the top stories of the day. India just weeks away from COVID vaccine. Prime Minister Narendra Modi briefs all parties, says vaccination campaign will kick-start after green signal from scientists. RBI keeps key rates unchanged, says growth will enter positive territory from third quarter of current financial year. Sensex hits record high of over 45,000 points. Third phase of district council elections in Jammu and Kashmir concludes with over 50% voting. 305 candidates are in the fray for 33 seats. The President, the Vice President, the Prime Minister and the Defence Minister greet naval personnel on Navy Day. Day commemorates attack on Karachi Harbour during India-Pakistan War of 1971. And heavy rains lashed parts of Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry. IMD withdraws red alert in 7 districts of South Kerala as Cyclone Burevi weakens. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed an all-party meeting on the COVID-19 situation in the country on Friday. He said that experts believe that a coronavirus vaccine could be available for rollout in the next few weeks. The political parties hailed the leadership of the Prime Minister in tackling the pandemic and also praised the scientific community as vaccine manufacturers as well for their efforts in vaccine development. Here's a detailed report.
Made in India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed an all-party meeting on Friday. Political parties that participated in the meeting included the Indian National Congress, the Trinamool Congress, the DMK, the YSR Congress Party, the JDU, the BJD, the Shiv Sena, the TRS, the BSP, the SP, the AIADMK and the BJP. The Prime Minister said that the government is developing a comprehensive vaccination strategy. He said that the world is looking at a cheap but effective vaccine against COVID-19 and that the world is looking at India.
अभी अन्य देशों की कई वैक्सीनों के नाम बाजार में हम सब सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन फिर भी दुनिया की नजर कम कीमत वाली सबसे सुरक्षित वैक्सीन पर है और इस वजह से स्वाभाविक है पूरी दुनिया की नजर भारत पर भी है। अहमदाबाद, पुणे और हैदराबाद जाकर मैंने ये भी देखा है कि वैक्सीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को लेकर देश की तैयारियां कैसी हैं। हमारे भारतीय मैन्युफैक्चरर्स, आईसीएमआर, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी और ग्लोबल इंडस्ट्री के अन्य दिग्गजों के बहुत ही संपर्क में रह करके तालमेल के साथ काम कर रहे हैं।
Prime Minister Modi said that the central government is in talks with the state governments and the decisions regarding vaccine distribution will be taken keeping public health as topmost priority.
भारत की अपनी 3 अलग-अलग वैक्सीन का ट्रायल अलग-अलग चरणों में है। एक्सपर्ट्स ये मानकर चल रहे हैं कि अब कोरोना की वैक्सीन के लिए बहुत ज्यादा इंतजार नहीं करना पड़ेगा। माना जा रहा है कि अगले कुछ हफ्तों में कोरोना की वैक्सीन तैयार हो जाएगी। जैसे ही वैज्ञानिकों की हरी झंडी मिलेगी, भारत में टीकाकरण अभियान शुरू कर दिया जाएगा। टीकाकरण के पहले चरण में किसे वैक्सीन लगेगी, इसे लेकर भी केंद्र सरकार राज्य सरकारों से मिले सुझावों के आधार पर काम कर रही है।
A national expert group, including technical experts and officials of both central and state governments, has been constituted to shoulder the responsibility of the campaign related to the vaccine. The national expert group will take decisions collectively as per national and regional requirements.
इसमें टेक्निकल एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, केंद्र सरकार के संबंधित मंत्रालयों और विभागों के अधिकारी हैं, प्रत्येक जोन के हिसाब से राज्य सरकारों के भी प्रतिनिधि हैं। ये नेशनल एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप राज्य सरकारों के साथ मिलकर के काम कर रहा है। राष्ट्रीय और स्थानीय हर जरूरत के मुताबिक फैसले नेशनल एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप द्वारा सामूहिक तौर पर लिए जाएंगे। भारत के पास वैक्सीन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एक्सपर्टाइज और कैपेसिटी भी है। दुनिया के अन्य देशों के मुकाबले इस क्षेत्र में हम बहुत बेहतर हैं। वैक्सीन की कीमत को लेकर फैसला जन स्वास्थ्य को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता देते हुए किया जाएगा।
The Prime Minister also asked the opposition leaders to spread awareness. He again appealed to the citizens to be constantly alert and not let their guard down. This was the second all-party meeting called by the government to discuss the COVID-19 situation since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Priti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's now take a look at the COVID-19 situation in different states of the country. Overall, India reported 36,595 new coronavirus cases on Friday morning. 540 deaths were recorded in different parts of the country in the last 24 hours. The country also registered 42,916 new recoveries. Active caseload continues to decline. There are 4,16,000 active cases in the country at present, comprising 4.35% of the total caseload. The total number of recovered cases now stand at 90,16,000, pushing the national recovery rate to 94.2%, while total cases stand at 95,71,000, which include 1,39,188 deaths. The total number of tests have crossed 14.47 crore, while 11,70,000 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. Kerala reported 5,376 cases in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra registered 5,182 new cases, while Delhi recorded 3,734 new cases of COVID-19. Maharashtra reported 115 deaths. Delhi also saw a fatality count of 82, while West Bengal reported 49 new deaths due to coronavirus. In Jammu and Kashmir, polling for the third phase of District Development Council elections was held on Friday. Over 50% voting was recorded in the third phase. In this phase, voting took place for 33 constituencies, including 16 in Kashmir and 17 in the Jammu division. 305 candidates are in the fray in the third phase. Polling was also held for vacant Panch and Sarpanch constituencies. Out of the 126 constituencies, polling will take place in 66 constituencies and a total of 184 candidates are in the fray. And counting for the Hyderabad civic body polls is currently underway. Out of the 135 seats for which results have been declared, K. Chandrasekhar Rao's TRS has won 50 seats till now. The BJP is leading in 43 seats, while AIMIM is leading in 40 seats. The Congress party has won 2 seats. Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation polls had witnessed over 46.55% voter turnout on Tuesday. The Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee has kept key interest rates unchanged. It is assured that there will be ample liquidity for stressed sectors to keep the economic recovery on track. The Apex Bank's accommodative stance indicates its readiness to cut rates further if economic conditions warrant it. Here's a report. At the end of the three-day meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, the Reserve Bank of India decided to maintain its repo rate and reverse repo rate at 4% and 3.35% respectively. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI lends to commercial banks, while reverse repo is the rate at which it borrows from them. Since February, the Apex Bank has already reduced the repo rate by 115 basis points. The central bank has projected higher retail inflation and has pegged it at 6.8% for the third quarter of the current fiscal. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das assured that RBI stands ready to take further measures to assure market participants of access to liquidity and easy financing conditions. He also added that supporting growth is RBI's paramount objective while ensuring that financial stability is maintained and preserved at all times.
The growth impulses that have emerged augur well for the revitalization of the Indian economy. Policy stimuli by government and the RBI are intended to nurture these growth sprouts to greater strength. Efforts are underway to ensure a calibrated unlocking of the economy, with cognizance and caution about the virus. While we remain vigilant, we must now turn to alleviating the scars left by the pandemic and revive the economy.
The RBI Governor said the central bank will introduce the Digital Payment Security Control Directions for regulated entities. The move aims to improve security of digital payment channels and also convenience for users.
In order to expand adoption of digital payments in a safe and secure manner, it is proposed to enhance, at the discretion of the user, the limits for contactless card transactions and e-mandates for recurring transactions through cards and UPI from Rs 2,000 to Rs 5,000 from 1st January 2021.
Announcing measures for the payment and settlement systems, Das said the RTGS system will be available round the clock in the next few days.
The RTGS system will soon be made 24/7 in the next few days, and this was announced in the last MPC. With this enablement, it is proposed to reduce settlement and default risk in the system by facilitating settlement of AEPS, IMPS, NETC, NFS, RuPay, UPI transactions on all days of the week. Instead of 5 days earlier, now they will be done on all days of the week. This will make payments ecosystem more efficient.
He also stressed on the need for banks and other financial institutions to improve their corporate governance and risk standards. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Equity benchmark Sensex hit record-breaking numbers as it crossed the 45,000 mark for the first time on Friday, tracking strong buying sentiment in financial stocks after RBI's policy outcome. The BSE Sensex surged 446.90 points to finish at 45,079.55. Similarly, the broader NSE Nifty touched a new high of 13,280 during the session before finishing 124.65 points at 13,259, its record closing high. The Directorate of Revenue Intelligence celebrated its 63rd founding day on Friday. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, this time the celebration was done virtually in the presence of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, along with Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur. The Finance Minister released the annual report of DRI in the presence of Finance Secretary Dr. A.B. Pandey and other senior officials. Nirmala Sitharaman also unveiled Smuggling in India Report 2019-20, which analyzes organized smuggling trends on gold and foreign currency, narcotic drugs, security, environment, and commercial frauds. The inaugural session was followed by an international panel discussion moderated by the DRI. Time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Defeat coronavirus. Let us always remember, wear a mask. Wash hands. Follow physical distancing. Together, we'll succeed. Together, we'll win against COVID-19.
The fifth round of talks between the government and farmers' groups will be held on Saturday. On Thursday, around 40 representatives of 32 farmer unions attended the meeting with Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and Union Minister Piyush Goyal. In a bid to address the concern raised by protesting farmers' groups, the government has agreed to discuss and consider ways to strengthen mandis, create a level playing field with proposed private markets, and also the freedom to approach higher courts for dispute resolutions. The government has also made it clear that procurement at MSP will continue. India has warned Canada to desist from commenting on the internal affairs of India. The Ministry of External Affairs summoned the Canadian High Commissioner to India, Nadir Patel, on Friday. Patel was told that remarks by the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, and some Canadian cabinet ministers as well as MPs on issues relating to Indian farmers were unwarranted and unacceptable to India. The High Commissioner was told to convey the message to his government that this type of interference should stop, and if it continued, it would have a damaging impact on ties between India and Canada. The Canadian High Commissioner was also told that comments by Canadian leaders encouraged gatherings of extremist activities in front of the Indian High Commission and consulates in Canada, which raise issues of safety and security. The High Commissioner was told to ensure security of Indian diplomatic personnel and not to legitimize extremist activism. It's Navy Day today. The day is celebrated to recognize the achievements and role of the naval force towards the country. Navy Day is observed on the 4th of December every year to commemorate Indian Navy's attack on Karachi Harbour during the 1971 India-Pakistan War, causing massive losses on the enemy. President Ram Nath Kovind, Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh were among those who greeted the Navy personnel on the day. In a Twitter message, the President said, India is proud of Navy's commitment in protecting the country's maritime frontiers, securing trade routes and providing assistance in times of civil emergencies. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu lauded Navy personnel for their bravery and selfless service in defending the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also lauded Indian Navy on the day, saying it fearlessly protects the country's coasts and also renders humanitarian assistance in times of need. He also shared a video message on the occasion. Listen in.
स्वतंत्रता के बाद हमारी भारतीय नौसेना ने विभिन्न अवसरों पर अपना पराक्रम दिखाया, चाहे वो गोवा के मुक्ति संग्राम हो या 1971 का भारत पाक युद्ध हो। जब हम नौसेना की बात करते हैं तो सिर्फ हमें युद्ध ही नजर आता है, लेकिन भारत की नौसेना मानवता के काम में भी उतनी ही बढ़-चढ़ करके आगे आई है।
Calling Indian Navy as an outstanding force, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also greeted the Navy personnel on the day. In a Twitter message, he hailed the Indian Navy's professionalism and its efforts to keep India's sea safe. Also, on the occasion of Navy Day, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Karamveer Singh, Chief of Army Staff, General M. Narvane, and Air Chief Marshal R.K. Bhadoria paid tributes to the martyrs who lost their lives serving the country at the National War Memorial at India Gate.
This year is also very special as we mark the commencement of the Swarnim Vijay Varsh, commemorating 50 years of India's victory in the 1971 Indo-Pak War. Some of our senior veterans have participated in and contributed to Indian Navy's spectacular victory in the 1971 war. We remember you this day and are grateful for your service to the nation.
The 6th edition of India International Science Festival 2020 will be held from 22nd of December to the 25th, 2020. Various institutes across the nation are organizing curtain raiser events to popularize the scientific events. In line with the same, the Department of Biotechnology of the Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology conducted its curtain raiser event of IISF 2020 in a virtual mode. IISF is an annual event organized jointly by the science and technology related ministries and government departments.
The aim is to engage the public with science and celebrate the joy of science and show the ways how science, technology, engineering and mathematics, to call it all together as STEM, provide us with the solutions to improve our lives.
Heavy rains inundated parts of Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, leading to waterlogging in many rural and urban areas after Cyclone Burevi weakened into a deep depression. The deep depression remains stationary over the Gulf of Mannar near Ramanathapuram and is likely to weaken into a depression during the next 12 hours. Thereafter, it will move slowly west-southwestwards across Ramanathapuram district towards South Kerala and will further weaken. The IMD has withdrawn its red alert over 7 districts in Kerala. Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu on Friday paid rich tributes to late Prime Minister I.K. Gujral on his birth anniversary while releasing through virtual mode a commemorative postage stamp in his honor. Describing the former Prime Minister as a multifaceted personality, the Vice President recalled that he had authored several books and used to enjoy reading and reciting poetry. Naidu said that Gujral will always be remembered for the Gujral doctrine enunciated by him during his tenure as India's External Affairs Minister.
Sri Gujralji was a rare man, soft-spoken and a gentle politician who never compromised on his values irrespective of the changes or hardships he had faced. Bearing an amiable demeanor, he was courteous to a fault and made friends across the political spectrum. He will always be remembered for the Gujral doctrine enunciated by him during his tenure as India's External Affairs Minister.
The Vice President said the potential and scope for cooperation and development of the South Asian region was huge, and all the countries must seize this opportunity to build a better and brighter future for the people by eliminating barriers like poverty, illiteracy, and corruption.
Unless totally wiped out, the menace of terrorism will negate all the efforts to create a prosperous and flourishing future for all in South Asia. This has to be kept in mind by all the people, the region, and also for that matter, the entire world community. I feel the time has come for the United Nations to play a more proactive role and step up its efforts in isolating nations sponsoring terrorist activities and in imposing sanctions against them. The whole world is facing one of the worst economic and health crises in the wake of the COVID pandemic. And this is the time for all nations, particularly those in South Asia, to focus on rebuilding economies, ramping health infrastructure and protecting livelihoods. South Asia is home to almost a quarter of the world population. The potential and scope for cooperation and development of the region is huge, and all countries in the region must seize the opportunity to build a better and brighter future for the people by eliminating barriers like poverty, illiteracy, corruption, providing quality education and health care, ending gender discrimination, and according priority to enhancing the overall quality of life.
And the country also remembered former President R Venkaiah on his birth anniversary on Friday. President Ram Nath Kovind paid tribute to the late president at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. In a Twitter message, Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu also paid tributes to the former president. Calling him a true nationalist and a distinguished parliamentarian, the Vice President said that he will always be remembered for his contribution to nation building. President Ram Nath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the demise of Lakshadweep Administrator Dineshwar Sharma. Expressing shock at his death, President Kovind said Dineshwar Sharma was an outstanding police officer whose expertise in internal security was particularly noteworthy. In a Twitter message, the Vice President said he was saddened by Sharma's untimely demise. He said Dineshwar Sharma was widely respected for his contributions to internal security as the interlocutor in Jammu and Kashmir and as a police officer. Recalling his contributions in strengthening the security of the country, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, Sharma handled many sensitive counter-terror and insurgency operations during his policing career. Dineshwar Sharma passed away on Friday in a Chennai hospital due to a lung-related ailment. He was 66. A 1976 batch retired IPS officer of Kerala Cadre, Sharma served as Chief of the Intelligence Bureau from December 2014 to May 2017. He was appointed as the interlocutor for Jammu and Kashmir in 2017 during the first term of the Narendra Modi-led government. On the 23rd of October 2020, Sharma was appointed as the administrator of Lakshadweep. And that's it from us in this bulletin. But before we leave, Rajya Sabha TV once again appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the COVID-19 pandemic. Good night, and thank you very much for your time.